Hi, this is Jamie from Antelope Beads, and in this video tutorial we're going to cover this great new finding that we are carrying called the Tri-Buckle Clasp. It comes in a variety of color finishes and 2 different sizes, as you can see. This one is made for the 10mm flat leather, and here's a piece using it. And the smaller ones are made for 5mm flat leather, and here's another example of that. Looking at them, you can see that the front side has this little ridge on it in the center, and the back side's completely flat. Same thing for the little guys. There's a little ridge on the front here, and the back is flat. That ridge acts as a safety for your wrap as you're putting it on and off. It allows you to keep the leather in the place where you place it so that you know the wrap will stay the size that you want it to be on your wrist. If I hold this one, you can see that I can't just pull the leather through easily. And that means when you take this piece on and off, you'll wrap it around your wrist, and you'll do it in kind of 2 parts. You need to remove it from the one side of the buckle and then the other. And conversely, when you are putting it together, you'll put it through one side of the buckle and then pass it down through the other, because you can't just slide it back and forth. Now, when making wraps with this tri-buckle, I like to start with about 19 inches of leather. I find that when they're all finished, they range kind of between 16 and 19 inches depending on wrist size. So like I said, I like to begin with 19 inches. And let's begin by showing you how to do the tri-buckle using this little guy right here. So in order to replicate this design, I'm going to start with, like I said, 19 inches of 5mm leather. This is from our Egyptian line. And I will also use one of the tri-buckles and one of the TierraCast rivets. So here I have the top and the bottom. Also need my leather punch. I have that here, and I have that set to the 3/32 inch hole punch. That's the size we'll use for the TierraCast rivets. I'm going to take the end of my leather, and actually what I've done with this leather is I've cut one end flush or perpendicular with the end of the leather, and I've cut the other end at an angle. So this will be the working end of your wrap, the end that fits through the tri-buckle when you wear it, and this end will be the end that attaches to the tri-buckle. So what I do to begin is just place the leather front to back. So again, that ridged side of the tri-buckle is going to be on the front. Push it in about 1/2 inch or so and fold it over. Then I kind of like to play around with it and look and make sure, okay, I have enough there that it'll securely hold when I double it and rivet it. So I know that's good, and I kind of press it there to make a little bit of a crease to keep it in the right spot. Then I can pull the tri-buckle out and go ahead and punch my first hole. I turn it around so that the bottom's facing me, and I place the punch equidistant between the 3 sides. I might put it in just a little bit further from the end than it is from the sides with this 5mm. And with the 10mm, I would do equidistant, but this one, I'm not sure if you can see there, but I have it probably about 1/8 or a little bit more of 1 inch in from the end. So I'm just going to go ahead and punch that, and I'm going to twist that leather a little bit to make sure the punch has gone all the way through. Next, I'm going to put it through the tri-buckle again, because we're going to make a little mark in order to know where to punch that second hole. So I'm going to squeeze the end of this leather a little bit, because it's getting a little frayed since I've put it through here a couple times now. But I squeeze it, and I'm still able to pull it through. So I'm going to pull it through to my crease that I made before, and then fold the leather over again. I'll turn it over here, and I'm going to use a Sharpie to just poke through that first hole and make a little dot on the bottom of the leather. Well, that kind of was a big dot, but works just the same. Now I can take my punch and go ahead and punch that hole as well. Now I have my 2 holes, so I can just fold it over, make sure those holes match up, take the bottom piece of the rivet up through both holes and the top, snap it down over that bottom piece. Now I'm going to need my hammer and my anvil and the little mouse pad or kind of extra cushioning that I like to have beneath. I'm going to place it near the edge of the bench block so that I don't accidentally hit the tri-buckle when I hammer. And then I'll take my hammer and I'm going to give it about 7 or 8 whacks. And there we go. It's finished, it's secure, and we have the rivet. Now the other piece that I did, I'll move this out of the way so we can see a little bit better. The other things that I did on this wrap was use the barrel beads, this guy, and then I did some more rivets with these large hole beads. So what I did next was just slide on, here I have a copper barrel bead. So slide on a barrel bead. This fits awesome on the 5mm leather, as you can see. And then I just decided, you know, where do I want to place this thing? I believe it was just a couple inches away, and I don't know if I measured it or probably just eyeballed it. But I just punched another hole a few inches away using that same 3/32 piece. And then I took one more of our rivet sets from TierraCast and one of these large hole beads, and I'm able to rivet this then onto the leather. And it not only looks cool, but it also keeps the barrel bead from sliding the complete length of the wrap. So I have my barrel bead here, and now I can pop in the bottom of my rivet, the large hole bead, and the top piece. And I can go ahead and hammer that as well, and you can see that if I do a few of these in a row, I'll get the same pattern that I do here on this little guy. And this one again, once I've made it, I'm gonna wrap it around my wrist a couple times, and then I'll take the end and I'll feed it up through one side of the buckle and down through the other. And then I can kind of move it around on my wrist and adjust it as needed. This one's a little bit large for me personally, so that's easy to just trim down and make shorter. Wraps are great for gifts if you don't know the exact size that you're going to be making, just because they are so adjustable. One more little trick I have with this leather and the tri-buckles is when you cut the end of your leather at an angle, some of the leathers have kind of a white or a different color core inside. Like this one here has a slightly different color. So what I do is just take a marker, this one's an olive green, so hopefully it'll be similar, but I just take it and kind of fill in that area, and it helps to blend it in a little bit better than having that shocking white come through. And that's also what I did on this piece here. And then to move on to the 10mm tri-buckle, this project I attached the tri-buckle the same exact way as I did before. So here's a piece I have. Again, I have 19 inches of flat leather, 10mm, and I've already riveted it to the tri-buckle. And for this design, all I did was, again, eyeball every couple of inches, and this time I just added rivets, no other large holes beads. But the cool thing about this one is there's a few charms added, so you can see them here. I've just used 6 and 8mm jump rings to add them, and there's a huge variety of charms that will look great added to the tri-buckle clasps. So that's the tri-buckle, the 2 sizes, and lots of fun ideas for that at antelopebeads.com, as well as other video tutorials for other riveting and leather techniques. Thank you.